Okay, so there was a lot of touchy subjects, very serious touchy subjects that actually got discussed this week. Let's talk about
And I'm like, come on through, Cookie. I want to put my soapbox. That's basically it. Let's talk about drag and all its forms. What, Cookie?
it. Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for Love and Hip Hop Miami. This is season 2, episode 7. As I said, a lot of touchy subjects actually came up this week, and we will talk about them. First things first, Amara and JoJo. Now, I sat here and I watched the two of them, and all of a sudden, it's this whole dialogue that Shay is messy. Now, y'all know I don't be fooling with Lord Child. You know, Shay be doing a whole lot, and she can be a little messy, but she ain't no more messier than Amara and JoJo. And I would just and I usually would say JoJo, but the more I'm looking, Amara, your ass is a little bit messy too. I'm saying you got a lot going on with you. You be throwing rocks, I say. You slide, you be messy on the slide. But they went on talking about how she was so messy, and in the same breath, turn around talking about we're gonna go. Let's the two of us. We're gonna go down to Gunplay's event. He's doing a single release. We're gonna go down there to the event. That wasn't the real messy part. That was messy. But the real messy part was that you mentioned that Kiara was going to be there and that there was all this talk going on about you being in his DMs and all this and how she had been upset about it. And you kind of thought it was cute that she was upset about it. And you were going down specifically to pretty much get up underneath her skin and possibly talk to her. Messy shit, Amara. Very messy. And then I said, you ain't really about that life. And I don't know that you would do so well with Kiara. I think Kiara will beat your ass. And I said, go on. Go on down there. Because right now, the two of y'all are messier than Shay has been since this program's been on the television. Because see, at least Shay will just go down and say, yeah, I was out of order. But y'all trying to pretend y'all innocent, and ain't neither one of y'all innocent. Y'all are absolutely out of order, the both of you. Now, when you get down there playing with Kiara, you're going to get what you're looking for, I do believe. Whatever, moving on. Next, we see Kiara and her mom and her sister are actually in town. First thing we notice, Kiara's sister's really pretty. She has a very, very pretty face. Boy, she's heavy busted, though. I said, I can see it. You know, the two of them, I see the resemblance in their shape. They both have that heavy breast line. I said, wow. I said, okay, but very pretty. Her sister, very pretty. And the mom kind of favors them too. But yeah, the sister's just really pretty. To me, she was just really her face and her facial features. She was just kind of striking to me. I was like, wow. But yeah, I could see all them all up here, honey. I said, yeah, them is the Bopsy sisters, baby. But her mother was recounting getting the call when Kiara got shot, and it was deep. It was deep. You know, I was like, wow, her mom. I was like, her mom's one of them people that you just kind of, when she talks, you kind of hang on the words to see what's going on and what she's going to say. I got that from her mom. Kind of like her. Kind of like her. Um, her mom dropped something where she says she don't really have an issue with gunplay. She kind of liked the little fella, but she does not like him for her daughter. I understand that. I understand that. I've been in that situation a few times. You know, where I really like somebody and I don't care for them for my friend or my family member, but I really like them as a person. Been there. Been there. It happens, you know. but you can't live it for them. And our mom understands that. Kiara is going to be done with gunplay when she's done with gunplay. And it's going to be a little hard. I told you, try that gunplay, honey. Them little beady black eyes, honey, look like he looking through you, honey. It's going to be hard to shake you, honey. But it is what it is. We'll see. He had also said that he wants to have dinner with the mother and the sister before they leave town because he wanted to clear up some things that had taken place in the past. And pretty much, I guess, really apologize to them, which he should. Which he should. Moving on. We had this little sit down with Trina and Jesse Wu. And that was like strange. It was a strange pairing, Trina and Jesse. Like, I was like, I didn't even know they knew each other. But whatever. So they sit down, and it got really, really deep and dark really fast. Jesse starts sharing this story with Trina of how she, Trina gave her some really good information, was telling her, girl, what happened to you with the producer? No, this is really the way this goes as far as the money. I don't think anybody has actually really sat with Jesse and explained to her the money part of this whole business. So she's just kind of clueless. And Trina put her down with the get down. So that was perfect. And she started telling Trina the story of how she basically got set up by a friend of hers and a producer that she had been working with or had met, and she ended up being raped in the whole situation. This was in the past. And she was just crying, and it was just terrible. It was really terrible. It was really a hard scene to watch. And I have to really commend Trina. Because I always see Trina being so, Trina be messy, child. She's either dismissive or she being messy. Or they got time. She just, Trina. But Trina, I thought, was really good with handling Jesse in this. She didn't get too caught up into it. You know what I mean? Because Jesse was really having a hard time. So it could have went really bad if Trina got really caught up into the emotion of what it was. She would have been no good to help her. But she held it together really, really good. And then you could tell it was hard for her to hold it together. And I just like the way she handled Jesse in that time right there. It was very interesting. It showed a whole different side of Trina. And I was very impressed. Very impressed with how she actually handled that. And I looked at it, I said, Trina going to be a hell of a mom whenever that happens. I don't know. I don't think Trina has any children, but if she ever decides to have some, I think she's going to be a hell of a mom. The way she maneuvered that and she handled Jesse, that just said good mom to me. Yeah. Where she was emotional herself, but didn't fall all the way into the emotion and was able to keep control of the situation. Yeah, that's the makers of a good mother. I was like, yeah, that was pretty good, Miss Trina, pretty good. Anyway, moving on. And this was another thing, her and this damn girl, honey, that y'all see later. But Joy actually had to sit down with her brother and this financial specialist. And this specialist was telling her, baby, your shit's fucked up, basically, right now. Her lease has been pulled from up underneath her for where she's been handling her wig business. So that got her business on hold. Then her credit is all screwed up because her credit's all tied up with Trick. And his credit is just shot. Everything's all fucked up. And she's tied up with him. The only way to really get from underneath it is to get this divorce over and done. And get herself away from him. Her brother basically told her, ain't no need to be crying and carrying on. Man up. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? You ain't got time to be feeling sorry for yourself. You need to figure out what you're going to do. What is step B? So I was like, okay, come on. And then he still was, her brother was in a wheelchair and all that. And he's very positive. He's very positive. So that was actually really helped. And I was like, wow. I was like, okay, it was perfect that he was there with her and not somebody else, because that's what she needed at that time. She didn't need anybody to coddle her. She needed someone to say, step your pussy up. Shout out to T.S. Madison. and man up. What are you gonna do? What's next? And this crying shit ain't gonna get it. So that was that. Trina then had an interview. She looked real nice at this interview. I told y'all before, I am like falling in love with this, and I'm seeing a lot of the girls wearing this kind of like wet look. Their hair is like this wet look, this very carefree wet look. And Trina's was blonde, and I was just digging it. I was like, I'm living for this. But she looked very nice in her outfit and everything. As she was sitting with Tarana Burke. And yeah, you all know Tarana Burke of the Me Too movement, Tarana Burke. So it was good to see her. And I was like, wow, somebody, and that was the good thing. I was like, good job, Mona, because, Love and Hip Hop always gets like the bad rap for being like a shit show, and the shit ain't about shit, and it ain't good for women, and it's a bad representation and all that. So it brought some validity to, everything's not a shit show here. Yeah, there's some shit show stuff going on, but there's some real people and some real shit going on. And Tarana came through, and I was like, I liked seeing her there. I did. I just like seeing her there. I don't know. Y'all tell me whether y'all got that, but whatever. It satisfied my soul for the moment. Anyway, I thought it was good. I'm glad she agreed to do it. Good job, Mona. She came in. She did this really good interview with Trina, and the interview was in conjunction with Jada Pinkett Smith. And her Red Table Talk situation was something that they have and they've collaborated on. So that was really good. Then she invited Trina to come to this Me Too event. And I was like, okay, good, no problem. So then we move on and we go to Gunplay's event. First thing that happens at the event, Trick is there. Joy and Trina show up. Y'all know they both got issues with him. Trina with her album situation, Joy with the whole getting the divorce situation. And, there's money that's needed to be raised. I think she needed like $31,000 really to straighten everything up and get the divorce completely taken care of. And he's just like not trying to budge. He ain't trying to pay nothing, and just being an asshole. And he did the same thing, told them they looked nice and all that. As soon as they were saying some of their issues, he ran off. He's like, I'm out of here. I am out of here. He ran on off, blew him off, and ran off. I was like, Trick, you are a jerk. You really are. Then the next thing you know, Gunplay does his thing. He's real good. And then Amara shows up. Amara and JoJo shows up. And Kiara sees her and immediately is like, what is this bitch doing here? Like, okay, well, there's a whole issue. You're part of the reason that me and Gunplay broke up, and then you have the nerve to show your ass up here tonight like this. She's like, I'm going to go see her. And she was walking up to her, and Amara's just kind of it was like a whole shady thing. I was like, oh, I don't like this side of you, Amara. She came through, hey, Kiara, how are you? She said, fuck you. I said, oh, I told you, girl, she ain't what you want. And she had Chinese Kitty with her. And so they both were standing on the sides of the table. Chinese Kitty standing with Kiara. JoJo standing with Amara. JoJo's like, I'm going to let y'all both talk. Y'all go ahead and y'all talk. And, we going to leave it alone. So them two went and stood in their corners, honey. It's like a wrestling match. And they got to going back and forth, honey. And Amara's pleading her case. And it just ain't sounding right to me. And I'm looking and I'm like, you sound very fucking guilty to me. If I was Kiara, girl, I'd be ready to spit across the table at you, because you're not going to sit here and railroad me and tell me, you're not going to make excuses for me for why you was DMing my man. Bitch, you was out of order. You was out of order. And I'll go with, Amara may have never one time really thought about actually sleeping with Gunplay, but bitch, it was stroking your ego that he was liking on you. It was stroking your ego, and that makes you guilty. It makes you guilty. And whatever she'd have reached out and gave you, you would have deserved, honey. But Kiara told her, that's okay, girl. I'm going to let this go, but I'm going to have my good fucking eye on her. I said, and it sounds to me like you better. Sounds to me like you better. I don't know, Amar, but girl, you coming across like an old sneaky bitch. And I don't like old sneaky bitches. I really don't. You cute though. You cute, which is even more reason to keep your fucking eye on her. Because when you get down to it, Amara versus Kiara, girl, keep your eye on her, honey. She's a problem. Anyway, moving on. So Joy had this really nice little high price car wash to raise the money for her divorce. And everybody has showed up. Chaotic was there, and Jesse Wu came, and just a lot of folks. They came to really support her and stuff. And then Trick came, starting trouble. Started trouble. Going to talk. Here, I got $40. She's like, $40. He just being smart. You know, I ain't paying for shit. This, that, and the other, on and on and on. Being smart. I gave you money when we was together. I ain't giving you nothing else. He was just being a jerk. And she said, I got your $40 and fuck you cheap bitch. I was like, oh God. Shortly after that, Trina shows up. And again, I said, look at Trina, honey, showing yourself in this different light. Trina's listening to her, and she says to her, she says, Joy, why didn't you call me? Why didn't you call me and tell me all this financial stuff was going on, this stuff with Trek, the stuff with your business? Why didn't you call me? And she's like, well, Trina, you know, I'm trying to take care of stuff myself. I'm tired of being in that space of being all needy and stuff. And I can understand that because, you know, when she was with Trek, she used to having, you know, and that's embarrassing. And honey, Trina said, well, I brought something for you, baby, and gave her an envelope with all the money for the divorce. Honey, I said, yes, Trina. I said, Trina, girl, you ain't half bad, bitch. Came in there and told her, that's just a day. Washing these motherfucking cars, bitch. I guess she dropped the whole $31K on her. I was here for it. I said, now that is a move that the baddest bitch would make for their cousin. Like, but she ain't got to kiss your ass, and she ain't got to be out here washing no fucking cars. Gave her the money. I was like, all right. Then she invited her to the Me Too thing and invited Jesse Wu to come down to the Me Too situation as well. Before we get to the Me Too event, we went to dinner with Gunplay and Kiara's mom and Kiara's sister and Kiara. Baby, when I tell you that was a good scene, it was a good scene. Kiara's mother unloaded, baby. She let Gunplay have it. He apologized about when they first met and how he was drunk at the airport and all of this stuff. He had too much to drink at the airport and all. He apologized, so he was out of order and he was really, really sorry, and all of that. And she was like, okay, all right. She wasn't letting up on him now. And then she went to preaching. I mean, seriously, preaching, honey. I was like, girl, I was ready to run on up out of here. She got to telling him, and then he told her that he really didn't love himself. And she's like, oh, yeah, honey, that's right. You got to that's the first step, honey. You admitting that you got to get yourself together. You got to get yourself together, and then you don't tell her how long to be mad. You don't rush her. When she get done being mad, then she be mad, then you deal with it from there. And that's what he was saying, you know, I got to get myself together so I can fix what I messed up, but I got to get me together first. And he said a lot of times he don't love himself. And he said, I probably need to get some counseling. Hey, that mother got the preaching and carrying on about him and his situation, and it was nothing but truth. I was like, wow, we got an actual piece of real reality TV, because all the while she was talking, I was like, girl, say it, and you could actually see Gunplay's wheels spinning. I think he's going to be okay. You could definitely see this season that I believe that he is actually clean, and he's really trying to clean himself up, because he's like a completely different person than he was last season. Last season, he was just a mess. Poor baby was a mess. But, I mean, he looks better. He seems more of a clear mind, child. He look even better, child. Yes, indeed. Gotta love it. We likes that Gunplay, honey. We rooting for you, honey. And Kiara. I like him and Kiara together. I really do. I'm really rooting for them. Anyway, moving on to the Me Too event. So, Tarana is up there on stage with another woman, and all they're talking and they're doing their thing. And next thing you know, you could actually see Jesse is actually like breaking down during the seminar, honey, and the lady was sitting with Tarana. She told her, she stopped the thing and was like, I see you. I see you. And that's when Tarana jumped in. She said, everybody here sees you. This is a safe space. Everybody in here knows what you're feeling. Everybody in here has been through that at one time or another. And it was a mess. It was like, wow. And she got to talking to her, and the shit was heavy, but it was really, really good. And in the midst of all of that going on, then Chinese Kitty got free from what was going on with her. Here we found out she has been raped before. She was raped and thrown out of a car on the side of the road. They drugged her, these guys, and it's somebody famous. It's someone famous because they bleeped it out. They wouldn't give the name. Raped her and threw her out of a car on the side of the road after they drugged her. I was like, oh my gosh. It was so heavy. I was like, wow. I was like, child, I got to go, honey. I had to get up and walk after I got done watching this program. I was, supposed to watch this and then go on and stuff. I had to get up and actually take a walk around the house. It was a lot. It was a lot going on. It was a really good episode. So, come on, Love and Hip Hop Miami, touching on some real stuff. Some real stuff. I said, I really hope, I always thought that Chinese Kitty and whatever her mammy's name was just a joke, but it made me look at her totally different. I hope she definitely keeps in touch with Tarana and gets out, and gets some help. Get some help. Get some counseling and stuff. Because that's what she said. She was never even able to talk about it until this, when she was sitting there. Said, I've never spoken it. Nobody knows but my mother. I was like, wow, that's powerful. So, all right, I'm done with this. I'm done. I'll see y'all next week. I told y'all it was a deep episode. It was deep. It was something, Mona. You had some good stuff on here today. Some stuff we all really, really needed to hear. All right, later, y'all.